Soundoff here on a Sunday. Happy long weekend to everybody. Hope you're all doing well. And really wanted to thank you guys for joining me as well here. Got Gray, Cole, and Dustin from Black Tea.
Hello,
Thank
hello.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Just making sure you can see me, right?
I can see you great. I
Okay,
can hear you
sweet.
great. We're off to a good start. Hopefully we can keep it that way. But
Yeah, it tells me camera access not
definitely
granted.
off to a good start. Yeah, no problem. Well, thank you for taking the time. Like I said, it's great to have you back on the podcast. I do want to mention really quick before I forget our sponsors. So our sponsor of the month, you can see behind me, that is Musician and Friends, the great Sid Bloom, who's a big supporter of local music here. He's been a supporter of the podcast basically since its inception. Sorry. So definitely shout out to him, and then shout out as well to our yearly sponsors, CDL. Wanted to shout out them as well. You can see, sorry to cover you guys up for a second. You can see the logo and the QR code there on the screen. They are a great architectural and cladding company doing all kinds of stuff in the trade. If you're looking to get involved in the trades or looking to start a project, anything like that, they are a great place to go. You can check out their website anytime. So it's been about a year or a little bit. No, it's been less than a year, sorry, but it's been a while since the last time we talked. I think we talked in August last time. And a lot's gone on since then, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a busy last couple months, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And that was fresh off of the release of Living Easy. So you released Living Easy in July, and that bad boy has been climbing. That great song, obviously, and it's been on the charts basically since it was released. I can't remember when it joined the charts, but how many weeks are you at now on the charts? 22 or something like that?
I think that's about right. 22, maybe 23 now. But yeah, it was a bit of a slow burn at first, and then it kind of just, I don't even know when it would have been, around October. It kind of just started. Last time we were around, last time we were in Winnipeg was October. But right around that time, it kind of started taking off.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's done some great stuff for you. And again, that's only one song too. So we'll be talking about the other single that you guys released, but it's the album overall is a fantastic album now that you're here. If you haven't listened to it yet, definitely take a look at it after this podcast or after you listen to this. It's fantastic, definitely. I did want to ask you about kind of how have things been since, I guess I just asked that, but what has it been like since that song is not only charted but stayed on the charts and then continues climbing and now in the top 10? What's that been like for you guys?
It's been nice because we're finding opportunities are a little easier to seize. That's for sure. Having that achievement on our resume. It's really cool driving around town and hearing the song, whether we're touring out in Alberta or, Ontario so far, and you hear it come on the local radio, and there's a damn good chance the car next to you is probably like, oh, I hate this song, I'm turning it off, right? So, but that means there's that many more people that are enjoying it, right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
No, it's really cool. It's getting texts from friends and family saying, "Yeah, I just heard your song on the radio." Like,
yeah.
It's almost becoming a regular thing now. So
it is, and again, being on the charts for that long too is definitely not an easy task. It's hard enough to get to the top or climb the charts, but to stay on the charts is very difficult, especially in today's kind of social media age and just people going through new things all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just like the kind of the what do you call it? It's able to hang around for a bit, which I don't know, it's
longevity.
Yeah, validating for us because I don't know, we put out this album not with that exactly in mind, but the fact that it's able to like have that longevity is pretty validating to what we're trying to do with our music. So
yeah, super cool. And obviously it's really cool to be heard on the radio in your hometown, or maybe if you're doing an interview with them and they play your song once, but that much cooler to know that it's all throughout the prairies, all through Canada right now. Everybody seems to be playing it. I know my dad lives in Saskatchewan, and when I saw him recently for a visit, he'd mentioned he remembered hearing you guys, or he remembered that you'd played here, sorry, and that he definitely hears you guys all the time when he's driving too.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, like it feels, it's so nice feeling like it's actually a song that is being desired. Like people are
Yeah.
actually wanting to listen to it, and it's not like they're just playing us because we're a local band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of taking it up a notch a little bit. So yeah, Gray's right. Definitely, like that validity that provides is really reassuring and tells us we're heading down the right path.
Yeah. Well, and another thing to add to that, like even when we were just out in Alberta last time, we were playing some new markets for us. So
Yeah.
areas that we've never played before. And those are generally the ones that you're going to have the hardest time promoting because anybody that's heard of you, it's going to be the first time they're hearing of you. Whereas this last rip that we went out and did, yeah, that wasn't the case. We played areas that we have gotten radio play, and when we went out, it's like we start talking to some of the fans that come up and buy merch or at the show, and they're saying like, "Oh yeah, I heard your song on the radio," and they were pushing the show, and that's how we heard of you and why we wanted to come out. So
Cool.
it's just another media to get some like to push out and get some get new reach to new fans, and we're finding that it's been helping drive attendance at some of our shows, especially in areas where we haven't played before or haven't had as much exposure to. So that's
Yeah.
definitely been a help. It makes touring like a lot more like the logistics of touring a lot better.
Yeah.
And we've
Definitely.
we've definitely noticed that increase compared to years in the past where we haven't had this type of radio play.
Yeah, the radio support has been huge. Like
Yeah.
huge for attendance, huge for bringing out fans that like because if somebody hears you on the radio, if somebody hears a band on the radio and then they're like, "Oh, I want to go see them when they come around."
Yeah.
That's not just somebody who you're like convincing to come to the show. Like they're
Yeah.
dedicated,
Exactly.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And like dude, like there are people coming to the show that are telling us stories about the first time they heard us. They're telling us stories about how they heard the song and then that led them to wanting to listen to the rest of the record and then having that whole experience with this the opening of the record Supposed to Lose blending into Living Easy and stuff and giving them
Yeah.
like a second listening experience. Like
Yeah.
what there's a fella named Sterling who we met at one of the Alberta shows who bought like 4 records. He bought 4 LPs. Like he just
Wow.
loved it. And
That's awesome.
like radio being the sole reason that gentleman heard our music and came to the
Yeah.
show and just loved the live show and is buying records for his friends and family just because he feels like this music needs to be heard. It's such an incredible feeling. It's such a blessing.
One of the coolest things that happened like recently on this tour here, like
Yeah.
the first day we did was in Toronto. And I don't know if this was like a direct result of the radio or if these people had just heard us through other means, but we were in Toronto and this group of Saskatchewan guys showed up to the show. We don't know these guys. They just heard we're from Saskatchewan. They maybe have heard the tune on the radio or whatever. They showed up and they're waving a big Saskatchewan flag in the crowd. And that was just one of the coolest things to see. We're first time we're playing Toronto and there's some people who are just like pumped that the Saskatchewan people are here,
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Yeah.
I actually had one of those guys reach out to me yesterday.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. I was like, because there's, and to add to it too, like there's a bunch of like fan videos of our performances now, right?
sure.
Like every once in a while, like I'll just type in Black Tea Band on YouTube or something, and it's like our full performance from the Firehouse is on there. A lot of our performance from our Toronto show is on there, and at the very, very, very end of our performance of Living Easy, I got to finally, because I could never prove that somebody actually had a Saskatchewan flag at that show. And at the very, very end, at the last like second of that video, you see them pull it up, and I'm like, "There's the proof."
Oh, that's perfect.
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah,
that's perfect. It must be a really cool feeling too when you make it through radio, because that's one of the only media streams, it seems like, or ways of media, sorry, that all they're hearing is the music. They're not seeing you. It's not a video of you. It's not seeing you live. There's nothing visual about it at all. It's just hearing the music, and obviously it's sticking with people, it seems like.
Well, yeah, and it's like it's again incredibly validating considering like we're not social media gurus. We're not, influencers, the three of us,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
therefore our social media presence isn't it's not like like we're not doing all the trends, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we're trying our best. Gray's really the spearhead on our social media stuff, and he's been killing it as far as I'm concerned. And but
We're not going out and doing TikTok dances.
yeah,
Yeah, you're
exactly,
not
right.
doing
Like
like
we're
viewers, is what
not
we're saying.
TikToks.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
we're not doing viral covers or TikTok trends to then pull in on a mass of temporary fans, right?
Yeah.
Because like there's a bunch of those artists who like they play the algorithms, they play the systems, and all the power to them. But it's like, can you put asses in seats, and can you put on a good fucking show? Sorry if I swore.
No worries. No worries at all.
And we're kind of doing it grassroots style, and getting it on radio is like that's how the Glorious Sons did it. That's how the Sheepdogs did it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's kind of cool to also be following that same path and seeing it still kind of work.
Yeah,
Right?
it's an extremely difficult thing. I don't know if it's gotten harder or easier. It seems like it's probably gotten harder, but
And
it's
it's like,
definitely very satisfying to see when it works for a band like you guys.
and it's a like being top 10 like today, it's a totally different thing than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's something, that's for sure. Like, we're trying to see what that even means in today's market and what that can actually accomplish for us. We're still trying to see what opportunities we can get from it, and we're still learning it. Like,
Yeah.
what exactly this is going to bring our way, and just see what happens.
Right. Yeah. Like, because again, like having had the fortune of meeting and playing with and talking to a lot of our, I don't want to say elders, but like
Maybe bands you look up
the
to or band
Canadian,
members you
the
look up
bands that
to.
we look up to, and the bands that are like currently like in the positions that we want to be in.
Yeah, exactly.
Talking to them and having them kind of recognize that, we're top 10. Like back when they were starting out, back when they were at our level in the industry, and
Yeah.
having them tell us that it was like, if they had a top 10 hit back in their day, they'd be touring with, the Stones at
Yeah.
that level, right? And
Yeah.
now it's just like, we're kind of just waiting for our DMs to be like, oh, yeah, there's Keith Richards, he wants us.
Waiting for it all to fall into place.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know, it's take it as it comes. I truly don't believe in having any expectations. Just take it as it comes and do our best to keep driving this thing forward. Really,
And it's all like, whatever worked for bands in the past isn't going to work for bands that come 5 years later or whatever, because
exactly.
it's constantly changing, constantly evolving.
Yeah, like I kind of expected myself to feel more of a kind of like resentment towards society and social media, due to the fact that it's like, man, if we got this top 10 years ago,
Yeah.
15
world.
years ago, like
Yeah.
our lives would be changing, right? And now it's like, it's not to discredit the difference this top 10
No, it helps you
status is.
it helps get you noticed, but it's not
Yeah,
giving
like
you like a
it's
million views or anything like
helping a
that.
lot,
It sounds like what you're
absolutely.
saying.
But
Yeah.
it's not like, it's not like changing a life like it,
Yeah,
like it
you're
would have
not
back in the
constantly
day.
on tour right now. Yeah, I get you.
You look through a bunch of like Canadian rock acts bios and stuff, and it'll mention, oh yeah, they got their first top 10 hit, which then led to this, and it's just like, it doesn't really work like that anymore.
Yeah.
So we're trying to find our way.
Yeah, and it seems like you guys definitely are. And you did mention Dawson mentioned the Alberta shows. That was be my next question. I wanted to ask about that, but you kind of covered it for the most part. I did want to ask though, does it seem like, obviously people are going to be more familiar with Living Easy now? Does it seem like people are becoming more familiar with the other songs on the album as well? Can you kind of notice the crowd's into it right when you start the song, or is it kind of building as you go during a showing?
What I would say with that is that, like, a lot of times if someone is listening to us on the radio and then they're like, hey, I should come out and see a show, I think a good portion of those people also go and like they try to, I don't know, do their homework, I guess, to get
Yeah.
more familiar with the band. And those are the people that usually are the ones coming up to buy merch. They're the ones that are coming up and talking to us before a show even, and talking about the album and whatnot. So I would like to say that, yeah, like you definitely see that trickle down effect of people hear it on the radio, they'll come out to a show, they'll listen to the album, so they get more familiar with all the other tunes that we have. So you see that progression too. This is we've noticed it even when we're playing some songs. Living Easy for sure. People you can see out singing songs with us.
Yeah.
So that's always a great feeling. I know.
For sure, I can imagine.
That's been great. But I've seen people mouth the words to a couple of the other songs that we're playing on the stage. So it's like, oh yeah, you can tell they did their homework and they
Yeah,
listened to
for
the
sure.
album before coming out to the show, and it's a very great feeling to have that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like we were saying earlier as well, it's opened up different doors for you guys. Let's talk
Mhm.
about the show you did, sorry, with the Trues. I think it was in Saskatoon in
Mhm.
February. So you guys got to open up for the Trues. Eddie and the Dirty Boys were playing that night as well. I thought that was perfect. I wish I could have been there, but I just thought that was perfect. I think I remember. I don't think it was during the show, but it might have been after the show we were talking, and I was saying it'd be perfect if you guys could open up for the Trues and the Glorious
Yeah.
Sons, and in a way, you pretty much did. At least
Mhm.
most of the Glorious Sons, about half of them are there. So, but yeah, how amazing was that? Walk us through that a little bit.
It was really good. We've always had like such a respect for the way the Trues kind of operate in terms
Yeah,
of like they're always reaching down and just like extending that olive branch to bands like us who are starting out.
for sure.
So it's good when you go to a show like that and you walk away thinking like, when I'm in their position, I hope I could extend to younger bands in the same way. Because not every band is like that, and they have no reason
For sure.
to be like that.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's a thing that we appreciate for sure.
Yeah. And all around great dudes too. Like it was lots of fun chatting with them backstage and after the show. Like it's always a good hang when you can just vibe out after the show and I don't know, have a few beers. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was
it's
cool.
I also really respect how it doesn't feel like they do that. What's I'm trying to find the best way to articulate this. Like they don't just hand that out, right? So it also feels
Oh, for
very
sure.
validating. It also feels very validating when we like because it feels like we earned it. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I would say
Because
definitely you did.
yeah, because like they don't. Every time I've seen them or seen them like seen their bills and stuff, anytime they have a local act open the show, I can almost guarantee like it's almost guaranteed that I can search them up and be like, oh, this is a good band.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, like they don't allow duds on their stage.
No, if
So
that show
it's
had taken place a year before, you guys wouldn't have been playing it, right? It's because you
oh,
put out that album. It's living easy.
exactly.
It's the quality
Yeah.
of the entire album for
Well,
sure.
it's because we've been playing together for 10 years, right? And so
Mhm.
like I
Yeah,
know a few bands
exactly.
who have toured with them, who have played with them and stuff. And we've always been like, oh man, like it'd be so sweet to do it. Can you put our name in the hat? Right. And never get the call. And
Yeah.
so, when you finally get the call, it's like, okay, sweet. So it's like it's being received, they're aware of it, and they dig it enough to have us support them or open the show, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, very validating, very like just you can't not respect those guys.
Yeah.
They are a
They're
well-oiled machine. The songs are monstrous, like the performance is unbelievable, and then the knowledge and insight that they are willing to share, to pass down is, yeah, like Gray said, something that we hope to carry on, should we find ourselves in their position.
and that's a great way to look at it. Definitely. I mean, that's what keeps new bands coming. That's what keeps things
Mm-hmm.
moving, right? Obviously, giving people an
Because
opportunity like that.
they can share like a 5-minute conversation with us and save us years or thousands of dollars. you
Yeah,
know?
for sure.
Like there's so much value in sharing this type of insight or information, all the way down to like touring analytics or like how to navigate certain situations and stuff.
Yeah.
And it just, you know, like even like you know, band dynamic practices even. Like we've learned so much from like John from
Yeah.
the Wild High. Like he's kind of been like a mentor in that sense, and that has really helped us grow along as musicians, as team members, as business partners, right? And as
Yeah.
people. So it's yeah, those musicians, they've been through a lot, and so if
For
they're
sure.
ever willing to share stuff, we are just
Yeah,
the
if you're
sponges.
exactly, if you're gonna listen, right? Yeah. For sure. And they seem like, I've never met the Trues, but they definitely seem like the kind of band. They're not gonna tell you what to do, but they'll give you some advice, they'll give you some information, and you can kinda use
That's a
that
good way to put
to
it.
make your own decisions, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
never like do this. It's always
Yeah.
just like they'll give you enough so that it's like you have to. They'll point in the general direction of the
Yeah. It's
door,
like
but it's your
consider
job
this
to walk
or
up to
yeah.
it and figure out how to open it.
That's awesome. And what about Eddie and the Dirty Boys? For those who don't know, I think it's two or three of them or are sorry members of the Glorious Sons. Maybe
I'm
it's just
pretty sure
two.
it's like all of them except for the singer. Am I
All of them? Okay.
wrong in that?
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
two
it's quite
I
a
two
believe
few
members
of
of
so,
the
them.
yeah.
Glorious Sons are in one solo act, and then the rest are in Eddie and the Dirty Boys. I think so. Depends how many people are in that band at the moment. But yeah, how was it playing with them? I got to meet Jay for a short time before Winnipeg show one time. It was kind of cool.
I think it's super cool to see like just like consummate professionals in a
Yeah,
kind of more fun side project kind of thing
yeah,
Mhm.
because they still have the, you know, they're still running their ship with that same professionalism, but they're doing it in a different context. So it's just really interesting to see that.
yeah. That's cool. And all of them are veterans. Obviously, it's a newer band, but they've all been playing
Yeah.
forever. So
Yeah,
that's awesome.
it's also very interesting to see them in a band that is still finding its place, right? Like
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
obviously they have the connections and the stage experience,
Yeah.
songwriting experience, everything, but the audience doesn't know who they are. Not yet,
No, for sure.
right? So they still are like the way I approach shows and everything and how I understand um, different artists and stuff is if a fan is going to go see a show, if they're going to go see the Trues, they know that they're going to go see the Trues. They know what to expect. They're married to that artist. They
Yeah,
know what they want to get out of it. They know the songs. Like they're committed. They're going to sing along. They're going to have
yeah, they know
fun.
what to expect, probably. Yeah,
If they don't know who Eddie and the Dirty Boys are, they, you know, all they know is the name. They might have heard, yeah, members of the Glorious Sons, but that band still has to win them over. And so watching Eddie and the Dirty Boys. None of them are named Eddie, by the way.
yeah. It's a weird thing.
Watching them kind of go through the motions of winning them over again, because like I'm sure they're so used to just being in the Glorious Sons and
Yeah,
you know having people love them because like they're one of the biggest bands in Canada. Now it's like they're under this different. It's kind of like Eric Clapton going with Derek and the Dominoes to try and you know start
yeah,
fresh. Uh, yeah, like
yeah. It's an interesting thing. Yeah, the
yeah,
singer did the same thing
it's still tough. Even like you know you can see that it's still tough on some
for sure.
nights to win people over, even if you're an established act, right?
Yeah,
It's just the industry, right? It's just the market. It's the way we Canadians we consume live performance. So a lot of us like to actually just sit back and listen.
yeah,
And I'm speaking entirely, you know, on my own. Like that's how I do it. Like I'm the type of person who's like I'm chilling in the audience, enjoying the show, nodding my head. I'm not waving my arms around, dancing and screaming. But
yeah.
then
Not jumping up
and
and
like that
down.
show could have blown my mind. We're just a lot of us Canucks. We're just a lot more timid. So
Yeah, I like to appreciate it different ways, definitely.
mhm.
So
Yeah. something also to mention is just like the I don't know, just how dedicated they are to the art too. Because like think about it, they do writing and touring for Glorious Sons, and then on the side they're doing this
Yeah.
other project where they're also writing and touring. So like complete workhorse for just like doing both projects. So like they're constantly working.
Yeah,
So
Jay's
that's
a
something to be
workaholic. I'm
admired
sure
too.
it translates to the rest of the band.
Taking
Yeah,
an
like
RV all the way to what I think first tour day was all the way in BC. So they started in
Yeah.
Ontario, drove
Wow,
their RV from Ontario to somewhere in BC.
crazy! Just
Drove
going
it.
through
And then,
Ontario alone would take forever.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then they start the tour, right? I'm like, holy
yeah,
shit.
No.
yeah. That's what they do, though. They're used to it for sure. So while Living Easy is on the charts and continues to climb, you've finally released another single as well. So let's talk
Yep.
about maybe the decision of how you picked which single to release. The name of it's obviously "Ain't Nobody." Great tune. I actually thought that might have been the first single that ended up going out. So not surprised it's the second one. But yeah, what came to or what made, sorry, how'd you make that decision? I'm trying to say.
Well, we're kind of just like we putting the feelers out for that one, kind of getting the feel of, which is like, it's a great problem to have that so many stations are like, well, we're actually just going to stick with Living Easy right now because it's doing good for us.
Yeah,
So we're kind of just waiting till Living Easy maybe comes on the down, and then hopefully all these stations will be wanting this other tune, and we can kind of just switch over. And if we're lucky, we can get
yeah,
maybe another single going, and then yeah. And the whole idea with it was like, I don't know, it's like it's a bite-sized rock and roll tune,
for sure.
and it's
Mhm.
I would say it's the most similar to Living Easy
Yeah,
off the
definitely.
record.
Yeah.
So the idea is maybe like an easy bridge. Someone who already likes Living Easy could get on board with that one pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, our record is very eclectic. You know, we touch on a variety of different styles and
Yeah,
influences, and so somebody like Living Easy is right at the root of our sound and our style, right?
yeah, for
And
sure.
so therefore it makes it the best introduction. And again, it's that whole thing with the audience isn't quite married to us yet, right? We're simply dating. We're simply dating the audience right now. And so
Yeah,
if we throw a curveball at them like Desire or something, it's like, okay, I don't understand what this band is or what they're trying to sound like. What's their angle?
yeah,
And ain't nobody sits a lot closer to Living Easy comparatively to the rest of the record,
yeah, for sure.
right? So like we've got other songs that I think are fantastic options to push to radio, but
Yeah,
I don't think we'll have as much of a broad acceptance, considering people are already have a taste of Living Easy.
for sure. So hopefully, yeah, that song "Ain't Nobody" can hopefully just kind of carry
Yeah,
on with
and
that momentum.
like Grace said, I was like, if
Yeah,
like we've been talking to a variety of radio stations and music directors and hosts and everything, and I'm finding that they're holding on to songs a little longer than historically like they used to.
yeah,
And like we're very fortunate to have gotten into this seemingly like uh harder playlist, or
yeah,
like kind of harder list of songs to get onto.
for sure.
So if they're loving it and they're still spinning it, and like beggars can't be choosers, man.
Yeah, it's
So
going
like I,
well.
I
So
I think
yeah,
we're planting the seeds for Ain't Nobody, right? It's like, hey, we've got
yeah,
this other song, we've got our tracker John, who's doing phenomenal. Like John is our saving grace.
yeah,
And he's been talking to the stations, planting the seed with Ain't Nobody, and
Awesome.
We'll see if they bite, right?
Yeah, I think it'll be a great fit. So definitely, if Living Easy is done well, I definitely think it'll do well.
Yeah, it's just getting the momentum, you know.
Yeah.
Once one switches over, maybe another, and then maybe another, and then maybe another. Or
Yeah.
who knows? It might all just fall apart.
Yeah, you never know
It's
what's
like
gonna
no
come. Right?
expectations. I'm not,
Yeah.
man. Like
You gotta be ready for
getting
anything when you're in a band.
well, dude,
Oh, yeah.
getting top 10 on our first release as this band, like it's
Yeah, some of the names that you're up there with too on that, like the one
right.
the Glorious Sons had a song there,
Yeah,
and
like
you're still there. I think their song has been. I don't know if it's
when
at
I'm
all.
looking up there and I see the Pretty Reckless, I see Foo
Yeah,
Fighters, I see Big Wreck, I see Aerosmith,
I know the
Youngblood,
ladies
like
have been on there forever. They finally got a second song on. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
guess I didn't think of that, but it is hard to get the radios to put a second one out there for you
oh,
at
for
the same
sure,
time.
right? Like, cause
Yeah,
what Foo Fighters, they
yeah,
peaked at #1. They were like up
yeah,
there for a few weeks, and then they were off of it within like 5 or 6 weeks or something. And we're still lingering around like 10, 9, 8,
Yeah.
and then boom, they're up there again with another song, right? So like they're doing a quicker turnaround. So it's very interesting, like just kind of watching the charts, seeing the different tactics that other bands are
yeah,
following. It's yeah, I mean we're learning so much. There's so much that we don't know about this area.
yeah,
So again, the expectations, like we don't know what we don't know, and because the industry is always changing, um, it's we're gonna do our best to take what we've learned and try and apply it to the next release,
yeah,
and to the next record, and obviously for the rest of our career. But if this is just beginner's luck, it is what it is.
yeah.
We'll take it as it comes,
Hard to
and
say,
we're
right? No, I get
yeah. I
it.
mean, at the end of the day, our end goal is to create amazing music and
Yeah,
songs that are going to last lifetimes, like long after we're gone, right? Because there's so many people that are enjoying Living Easy that haven't listened to the record, and
yeah, for sure.
I've been saying, man, like in 2 years, 3 years, this record's gonna blow their mind.
Yeah,
Like it's
absolutely.
already
You
out;
guys
they can
have heard
listen
it.
to it
Yeah,
now, but like in 2 to 3 years, when they finally clue in and listen to the full thing front to back, I
yeah.
think is really gonna blow their mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was another thing. That is something I was going to bring up as well. Obviously, there's a lot of songs that can be singles. Desires, one you mentioned, I wrote that down as one I thought too would be a really good single at some point. But the album does have still so much to offer, with only having the one song out on the radio at the moment. I do have to ask though, and you kind of just mentioned it, I do have to ask, what kind of stuff are you working on, or are there new songs that you've been working on for the next album?
We have about a million ideas floating around, and we've just got to sit down and actually flesh them out now. With the radio success that we've gotten,
Yeah,
it's been a whirlwind.
for sure.
We've been playing lots of shows. We got our whole summer booked up, and we're
That's
super
great.
excited to go and play all those shows. But we're what we're thinking is probably fall time. Where that's when we're going to hunker down and really dedicate some time to writing new material. We got a lot of great ideas, stuff that I'm really excited about, and I think are going to turn out amazing. But it's interesting when we go to sit down and write. It's almost you gotta be in that mind space. Like you gotta
Yeah,
have that time to really flesh those ideas out.
yeah, you
When
can't
we were
force that
writing,
for sure.
exactly, and like when we were writing for this past album that we released, like we had like it was an 11-song album, but we had like probably 20-25 songs written that we just said, okay, what's the best of the best, and that's what made the
Yeah.
album.
And also,
So
what tells a story, right? Like what works
exactly,
Yeah, for
together
sure. There's all
flow
different
wise.
kinds of songs on there. Yeah.
yeah. So we're when we go to write the next one, I'm sure we'll go through that same process where we'll write a ton, and whatever gels together, whatever we're feeling is interesting to us, that's what we'll likely go forward with for the next album. But I think right now we're just trying to build up on the momentum of our first album, playing
Yeah.
tour that on, and then start putting our focus on the next one.
Like we're still actually implementing the songs from this record into our live show,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like our last few shows, we've got a version of Shiver now,
Oh, nice.
a song that we like
Good
previously haven't been playing. So
Yeah.
we've got Now That You're Here, cocked and loaded for, the right show. It's a very intimate song, and so it's like if we've got a 30-minute set, that one's probably not going to make it on to the set. But it's it's very interesting to try and relive and understand our headspace when it came to creating the last record and
Sure.
what we want to put into the next one. Because again, I'm going to say it for the third time, I was like, it's pointless to have expectations, right?
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
with this record, we barely like. I think we just tapped into something very special, and we just kept chasing it,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? And so, thinking that we're going to tap into the exact same thing for this next record, I don't have an expectation that we will choose to do that if we can, or that
Yeah.
we would be capable of doing it again. I think we captured something very specific to us as a unit and us individually, like as people, due to the things we were going through at that time, that it's like
Yeah.
that this record represents a place and a time and a headspace that we were all in. And I think you hear that in every aspect of all these performances, from the vocals to the instrumentation to the room that it was recorded in. Like it's a very analog, it's very
Yeah.
human,
That's a great way to put it,
this
for sure.
record. The next one, again, no expectations. I feel confident in what I will bring to the record. I can only speak on my own side of things. I'm confident that my brothers in this band will also put forward their best, because they always do, and I believe that the three of us will create something spectacular.
Yeah.
However, I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know what it's going to look like.
I think that's
I
the
don't
right
think any of
mindset
us
to
do.
have, though. I definitely think that's the right mindset to have, because it's easy to see the success of Living Easy, obviously, and try to just replicate that, or say how many of those
Yeah.
can we write,
Yeah,
but
and
that's
I was like, we don't
that's
want it.
not what you tried to
That's
do
not our
when you
style,
wrote Ain't Nobody, and yeah, exactly. It's
right? Like,
gonna
Yeah.
mess up your creative thinking, I would imagine.
I always think back to like when we did Hellbent and Setting Sun, and the intention with those songs was to go for a radio song, and you didn't hear it on the radio, did you?
No, I have
Yeah,
to go to the dose for that.
and Living Easy, like all the songs on this record, we had no intention of being radio songs at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a coincidence that Ain't Nobody is like under 3 minutes, which is like perfect radio format, but that's
Yeah,
just due to the nature of our influences and the Beatles having,
exactly.
songs that are under 2 minutes regularly, right? It's, you cut the fat and you say what you need to say.
Yeah.
And so like that practice is the sole reason why these songs, I think, are contenders for radio.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
they weren't purpose built for radio, which I think is ideal, like, because we're trying to connect, we're trying to spread a message, we're trying to say something, and that's what people want to hear.
Yeah,
I feel like
absolutely.
if you try to, I
What?
feel like if you try to write a song for radio, it becomes too formulaic, and
For sure.
the audience can tell. I listen to songs on the radio. I'm like, that song is tailor made to be digested on radio.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
some
well,
bands
it's
do
like
it
they all have the
extremely
same
well.
they all have the same breaks, they all have that one moment where it breaks down, they sing part of the chorus, and then it builds back up,
Yeah.
full chorus at the end, like it's the same
Yeah.
formula. And I mean, like, sure, yeah, sometimes it works and good for them, and it's not easy to actually do that. I understand it's
No,
difficult to do that,
for
but
sure.
that is just not the angle that we're
But
approaching
very
it at.
formulaic, definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
at least, and again, this is all from our naive perspective, because we don't write songs like that, so we don't actually
Yeah.
understand how difficult that is to do,
Yeah.
right?
No,
So
for sure. Obviously, everybody would be doing it if it was easy to do. But if you
exactly,
combine the open mindset that you guys have with what Dawson was saying earlier, with not rushing things, I know you put a lot of time into that last album. it's a good formula. It seems like it's pushing through some good quality stuff for sure.
I really hope we can establish a fan base that can rely on us to make what's the good authentic decisions with integrity.
Yeah,
Right. Like, because we
yeah.
care
Authentic is
about
a good put it.
I think we care about our longevity quite a lot, and that's why through all this success with the top 10 single and stuff, we're
Yeah.
also behind the scenes trying to navigate this in a healthy way for each of our headspaces and our availabilities with our day-to-day life too, right? Because we all work full-time jobs and
Yeah.
we all have relationships that need to be nourished and fostered and stuff, but also we're trying to build this band thing, which ultimately everybody in this industry makes a so many sacrifices.
Yeah,
Like,
tons of sacrifice for sure.
musicians will constantly I read it in the Getty Lee book. What was it? It was musicians would constantly pay whatever the cost is,
Oh yeah, they'll continue to compromise,
but
make it work, right?
they never count the total sum, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, over a 10-year career, how many times have we sacrificed whatever
Yeah. How many gigs have you gone to and not
to
made that
play a
money back?
$50 gig, right?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So it's navigating that as humans as we grow and enter our mid to mid 20s and stuff. It's we gotta be conscious about it.
Yeah, you got to balance that out for sure. I can understand that. Definitely. Well, I could talk about this album forever. We talked about it last time too that we had you on. I could go song by song with you, but I'll change the subject a little bit. And also, I don't know how I've gone this long without mentioning the other reason that we're talking to you today is that you guys are going to be playing another Winnipeg show. So you guys will be back at the Osborne Tap House May 30th, Saturday night. You're playing with Silas Presley and Sunbreather. It'll be a great lineup.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was going to ask you about merch. You guys have some new merch since the last time that we saw you. I think you have some new shirts, and I don't know if there's anything else, but
Yeah, I think we have new shirt designs. We have new shirts, new shirt designs. We have mugs, so you can drink your black tea in your black tea branded mug.
yeah, I got
Black
you.
coffee.
Yeah, we have vinyl of the album, limited edition, and our regular edition album for it. We have CDs. We have patches.
Awesome.
We have hats, stickers.
Yeah, the stickers are great too, for sure. Hats are great.
I think that's it for now. But yeah, cash, credit, debit. Come
Yeah.
on, and that's merch money is how we get gas in the gas.
Dawson's like, DM me.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got links to our OnlyFans there.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly. Here's my QR code.
This is the first time we've ever had people around the country and even outside of the country wanting our merch.
Yeah.
So like with the radio play, it's like we get people coming to our website. So I have had to now like update the website to have more of like a online merch presence because people are reaching out going, where can I buy your merch? So we have a Bandcamp set up where people can go and buy stuff, and
awesome.
Now is the time when I've actually had to figure out how do I ship merch? How do I ship this across the country?
You gotta send people,
and because people are wanting it. And
I found out you can put a T-shirt in a bubble mailer and have it go in as letter mail. So shipping across the country is only like $6, but only if you buy a T-shirt.
Yes, but like it's a new not problem. It's a new hurdle that we have to go around. Is like figuring out how to ship all this stuff, and I'm like, oh well, it's a new way of making money, a new revenue stream. So it's definitely something new that I've been working through with the band, trying to make sure that we have something for our fans to get if they're not able to make out to shows.
Yeah, that's awesome, and that's a great thing about Winnipeg. Obviously, we're big on local music or big on people playing on the local venues there, and Winnipeg usually is very interested in vinyls and grabbing different merch. So that's awesome.
Well, I'll say this: vinyl. We've stocked up on CDs, stocked up on vinyl, and our vinyl has grossly outsold the CDs.
Yeah,
We find that people are if somebody is wanting to buy like a physical media from you, they gravitate towards vinyl rather than CDs nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people are big on vinyl. I know the Northern Royals a couple years ago even were selling their singles or their album on cassette tape, more of a collector thing. But you could still play them like they were functioning cassette tape. It was really cool. But yeah, people are very into vinyl, especially in Winnipeg. I don't know about everywhere, but in Winnipeg, I see a lot of people leaving shows with a vinyl. And you guys have a great vinyl. It's got a really good old school look to it. The
That's what we're
cover
going
obviously
for.
outstanding. The whole the art story on the cover is really good. So yeah, it's awesome.
That was
Well, like,
that was the whole intent of it, right? We
Mhm.
wrote it to be consumed on vinyl. You know, the
Yeah,
A side and the B side, everything. So
it's definitely the best way to listen to Black Tea if you're not going to be seeing them live, or if you can't see them live all the time, is to pick up a vinyl. So May 30th, everybody get down to the Tap House and say hi. And man, you guys are amazing on stage. So
Thanks,
if you
buddy.
did see the last show, or if for people who didn't see the last show, this is the time to get down there. Sunbreather also really good. Obviously, Silas Presley. So it's going to be a great show.
That Silas
Yeah, I'm
guy, he
excited
seems
to
I'm,
very
see those guys.
groovy in 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm super pumped for this show because I don't know, that was our first time in Winnipeg last time and it went so well. And I was just like, I don't know, I feel good support already from the Tap House and just
for sure.
like,
Yeah, it's good
and the
venue.
radio in Winnipeg. City's been playing us.
Yeah, no, you're on the radio all the
So
time out here for sure. Definitely.
it's just like, I think there's going to be some people showing up and it's going to be a really fun one.
Yeah, I hope so. Like I said, get down there. It's going to be a great show Saturday night. Great time to see some live music. They'll probably have the doors open at the Tap House if the weather's good. So, or the garage doors they have there for the walls. Yeah, they'll have that open. Have the breeze coming through.
Such a
Last
great
thing that I
venue.
was, yeah, absolutely. I love that place. So it's a wicked place to play. The last thing I was going to ask you, and I think we've kind of basically gone over this. So if you're just gonna, if sorry, if we've already covered it, that's fine. But any advice that you have for other bands or people who are putting out art, whatever it is, who maybe they put out something and had an expectation for it and didn't quite meet it, or just any advice you'd have right now with just a little bit of recent success that you guys have had for someone who might be discouraged or anything like that.
You gotta create for yourself and that's it. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna go where it's gonna go. But like remember feeling before we even released a single song, like I believe in this. If anybody even likes it, it's done. We believe in it, and like that was it. That was
Yeah,
all we had to do. So I always hear like Dave Grohl saying stuff like, "You just gotta make great songs, and that's it." And I just believe that's all you have to do. You can't think too much about how it's going to be received or anything after the
yeah.
fact.
Mm-hmm.
No, I gotta agree with that. Do it for yourself for sure.
Yeah, I knew that's like you asked any of the three of us that question, that's always going to be the answer without fail.
Yeah,
Without fail, it is fundamentally from the ground up. What is your foundation like? And if your foundation isn't for like based around understanding and loving and just being all steam ahead, gung ho on creating the best piece of art that you can, not for the sake of trying to achieve anything in particular, not
yeah,
for the sake of trying
exactly.
to become famous or to get on the radio or anything. It is quite literally like what fulfills you as an artist. You know, what excites you? What are you like, if somebody hears your song and doesn't like it, or if your goal was to sound like a certain artist and you ended up sounding like that artist,
Yeah,
you talk to that artist and they're like, this is shit. I was like, would that deter you? Because
yeah,
if the
exactly.
answer is yes, not it. Like it's undeniable. It's something that you are just you just believe in no matter who tries to derail your belief in the art.
For sure. No, that's a great mentality to have.
Well, and I think at the end of the day, like we kind of touched upon it with both Gray and Cole's responses, but like, and it even comes back to the question, or what we were chatting about earlier with like the radio. You don't have an image; it's purely just a song.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, as a band, it's the music. The music is the foundation. Can you write a song that you believe in, that you enjoy playing, that you groove to? And everything else is built around that. The image coincides with the music. The 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 business side of it is selling the product, which is the music. But at the ground level, it's the art, and that
Yeah.
should always be a top priority.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that all three of us have always agreed on: is you cannot go take corners when it comes to the art. It's what is foundational. And I think
sorry.
No, you go on.
One thing I would say to whichever artist is, wanting to try and tap into that is one of the ways that I found that we really honed in on that approach is, well, actually, there's like two things. One of them is very clear, open communication with your bandmates.
Yeah.
Being very in tune with your emotions and everything as much as you can be. And secondly is studying the art form. If you like a song, why do you like it? Who influenced that artist? Who did that artist listen to? Who did that artist listen to?
Yeah.
Right? Understanding like the history and the impact and the story behind all these amazing songs, it will completely change your approach. Like, when you listen to Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd,
Yeah.
the first time you ever hear it, it's like, this is a really good song. I really like it. And that's, most people's opinion on it. But then you understand the context of while they were writing it for their old bandmate, that bandmate actually walked into the studio and was present during the recordings. It's like the
Yeah.
context, it changes the way you hear things. It changes the way you're attached to the song. And same thing with understanding the history and the story behind, the best Beatles songs were written by George Harrison, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
About a pretty lady named Patty Boyd, and what was Layla written after? Like Eric Clapton, he wrote Layla also for Patty Boyd,
Yeah.
the same woman, right? And
Yeah. And you guys have a really cool shout out, I'm assuming, to that song, but I know
yeah,
mentioned, is it
but
Something to
it's
Lose is the song, I think?
Yeah.
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 Or
Supposed
Supposed
to
to Lose,
Lose,
what am I saying?
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Putting in that time to do your research is so important to what you add to the lineage of this music.
Yeah.
So I think having that also part of our foundation is what I think is connecting with people,
Yeah,
because it's like
definitely.
we truly believe it and we are obsessive about it, and to the point to where, as far as we're concerned, it's undeniable.
And that's the best way to look at it. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of what Gray was saying earlier too. If you're putting it out for yourself, and basically if you can finish something and look at it and say, even if everybody tells me this isn't good, as long as us three think it's good, that's a good mentality to have.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Awesome. Well, that was some great advice, guys. I want to thank you again for taking the time. We've been going at it almost an hour here, so
Yeah.
again, thank you for taking the time to talk with us here. And May 30th, everybody, down at the Tap House. Again, if you did not catch Black Tea at their last show, it was absolutely phenomenal. So you're going to want to make sure you get down there, and let's pack the Tap House on the 30th.
I will add, the approach that we have for music, for recording the music, is also the approach that we have for the live performance. So,
For sure.
so we really intend to have the live performance stand up to the same quality as our recordings. So
Yeah.
if you dig the record, come rock out with us. We'll try and make you feel like you're in the late 60s, early 70s.
Absolutely. I can speak for myself in saying that it was outstanding live, and I can also speak for a few seasoned, veteran musicians who were there who said it was one of the best performances they'd seen at the Tap House. So
Thank you.
absolutely. I don't know if they're selling tickets in advance, but if not, like I said, just get down to the Tap House May 30th. I think it's $10 at the door, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what it is. I think it was $10. I could be wrong. I apologize if I am, but thank you again, guys. It's been great talking with you, and thank you everybody for watching.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, likewise.
No problem.